Well, clinical legal education was in India is more often related to the growth of legal aid and legal services for the marginalized people. Latika Sarkar, Bhuvan Pandey and I, for example, in Delhi University, eh, invented, as it were, our own type of legal education, a legal education, which was to go to Beggars Court in the Kingsway camp and just move bail applications. There are no lawyers to beggars. In fact, judges, district judges don't like to go to Beggars Court because infradig. But we did that, and they used to rise because they were students, and we said, you should not rise, you are a judge, we just come here for bail, we got the bail. Now nobody has thought about, at that time, nobody had thought about the idea that clinical legal education can extend thus far. The dominant trend in legal education, clinical legal education, was the other way, which was started by Madhav Menon. And Madhav Menon started the American way. That is moot courts and trials and briefs. That's important. But it doesn't look at the marginalized people. It looks at what lawyers, what students that lack in the legal education, formal legal education, they incorporate in clinical education, so that the legal education prepares would-be lawyers better. For 30 years, but now I'm on my legs in Bhopal victims and violated. So it's also experiential education, as you now call it, but it's a different model of clinical education. We worry about people in Agra social action litigation. Latika Sarkar and I founded it. We wrote the open letter in Mathura. It was experiential education in your terms, but in our terms it was another way of doing clinical legal education. But the short point is the clinical legal education in India has been associated with legal aid, then became Lok Adalat and so on. And then it became associated with a growth of paralegals, legally trained people, but not lawyers. There's a great social justice trust in Ahmedabad, which has trained paralegals in an army of paralegals. There are certain organizations, that we call them NGOs, which deploy paralegals. That you skills for a lawyer, but you are not advocacy lawyers. You don't go to court, but you do all the jobs associated with good lawyering. And your clients are poor people, marginalized people, excluded people, not necessarily those who can afford court. So the question is whether it's legal education, whether it's clinical education, whether it's experiential education. The question always is this, and in my language, the question is whether one would be shoulders of sovereignty or soldiers of constitutional justice. Now this is a big divide, big question. Now what is called clinical education and what is called experiential education is geared to service sovereignty in one form or another, or supposed to serve the ends of sovereign power, then there is not much to be said about it. It may, everybody does one's own thing, but I'm not terribly interested in it. I'm interested in the alternative to, and that's probably what you mean by, what one meaning of experiential education is, let the injustice come in and be it large as an educational exercise, as a community exercise, as social action, as human rights endeavor. So constitutionally sincere experimental education will speak for, with, and after injustices. And this is I make between one form of speaking, which is speaking to, where you claim representative powers. I respect it, and I think speaking to is meant for political classes. Political classes normally speak to people, although they speak in the name of the people. I don't think activists can afford or should speak to the people. I think they can speak for the people, with the people, and after, as Bhopal happened, after a catastrophe of injustice has happened. So they can speak after, for, with, not to. I've done a whole essay on this that was called De-Silencing Human Rights. Experiential education, in my opinion, must de-silence violations of human rights. In the media, in parliament, among Badalogs of the world and middle classes. Experiential education fights against the production of social indifference, in my opinion. Just imagine the situation of untouchability. Existed for the last 5,000 odd years, at 70 years of the Constitution. Unless experiential education is a form of indignation entrepreneurship, indignation at indifference. Is indifference destroying education? All education should not be an exercise in producing social indifference. It's to be an exercise or endeavor at mitigating, ameliorating, and ultimately eliminating social indifference. So all the forms, in my opinion, are valuable if they combat production and distribution of social indifference. Otherwise, legal education is important, but important to produce good lawyers. That's all right, but that's my cup of tea.